All right, now, guys, let's do the thing.
All right.
In,
Make
eight,
sure.
in 8 minutes, you're going to hear a beep, air
Ah.
fryer going through it, etc.
So we'll go ahead and preload those.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, we will start on the Miami offense side. We will start with Jimmy Bam pick and rolls and some of the openings they may see. Some of the questions that we talked through on the pod was, hey, what coverage will they see? Will we see Jokic at the level? Will we see him in a drop? Will we see any late switching from Jokic? In the regular season meetings between these two this season, 18 reps in pick and roll between Jimmy and Bam, 1 point per possession, which is an average-ish number. But again, small sample size there. You don't have to pay too much attention to that number. But we will start with this first one. Miami's going to go empty corner. That is, I think that's Vlatko Cancar guarding him. Guarding Jimmy. Jokic in a drop. You'll see MPJ peeling in over early. You'll see Haywood Highsmith, who started at the left dunker spot, relocating to the right. That's something Miami has done pretty often in this postseason run. Couldn't get it to go, but that is emptying the corner and trying to generate a look. What we got?
Bring that one back.
Okay.
So you can go right to Jimmy catching it.
Okay.
I'm like at a dual level. These clips don't tell the whole Miami Heat story.
Mm-hmm.
And like the one thing watching the two regular season matchups is like, boy, Miami didn't have all their ducks in a row. Like I was like, why is Jimmy spaced at the dunker spot? I was worried about the spacing. That's where my head went. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how Denver handles a team that has the kind of weak side movement that Miami has. So if you go back even a little bit, watch Michael Porter Jr.'s natural reaction. Jokic is in a drop. But the drop, if you pause it, a couple more dribbles, if you hold it right here, look at Denver's weak side and look at those three defenders. Brown, and Porter Jr. Their whole deal is to be in early. The reason for that is Jokic in a drop. We want to help him out to make sure, hey, this is the only thing you have to worry about. Michael Porter Jr. is already pulled in. This feels like an early cut from Highsmith. But Denver does have to deal with the weak side movement from Miami in a way that they haven't had to handle that in the playoffs. You know what I mean, guys?
Yeah.
They've been able to, like the key, whether they're at the level or in drop, it's their help. It's those other defenders. Are they locked in? Are they loaded? And Miami's big deal is, hey, we have weak side movement. We have spacers. We have shooters. We can manipulate things. So Michael Porter Jr. is coming over early. Like, hey, yeah, man, I'm here. Jokic is there. This isn't a bad rep, but it's just something I'm monitoring. Like, how does Denver adjust to that? It's not the massive culture shock, but it's part of the process, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's one thing to run drop against the Lakers. I get the talent, but Miami does do different things. They put people in different places. Can Denver stay locked in? Can they stay disciplined? Can Miami find the right gaps?
Yep. I would just say you mentioned the timing on the cut for Haywood Highsmith. He starts his cut the second Michael Porter Jr. steps up on this. He's taking off right there. And Bruce Brown's kind of looking back like, okay, my guy, shout out Jamal. Okay, my guy's here. I'm supposed to be splitting. I don't have anyone to split anymore. I hope now MPJ kind of has to split Lowe's the keys. And Haywood's there. He has to finish this. That's a good challenge there from MPJ. Good recovery from MPJ, good challenge from Jokic. And again, we'll have to keep an eye on the Jokic contest in this series for sure. But yeah, Miami's going to move. And this is why I mentioned on the pod, like, you have to keep an eye on Miami's cutting just as much as you keep an eye on Denver's. So second one, early pick and roll for Miami. I guess I can go regular speed on this one for the first run through. But it's going to be an early pick and roll for Miami. Jimmy Butler going to get...
You went backwards! Oh.
I know. I was trying to get there. See, this is the problem with not doing it on Synergy. I have to do this manually now. But anyway, early screen from Caleb Martin gets the MPJ matchup before flowing into a pick and roll with Bam. So off rip, I want to know just what Jimmy's comfort level will be against Michael Porter Jr. and his ability to hold up. Help is keyed in at the nail. I think that's Vlatko again. And there's Caleb Martin cutting right behind it. And now Jimmy just kind of sits in this area. A little bit of flow from Miami after that pick and roll. You kind of have a 2v1 here because KCP, that was initially his defender. Jimmy just going to slither right on in here. And that's an easy bucket.
And those are one of those possessions where I'm wondering, with Miami knowing more of who they are, can they hit those nets a little bit quicker? Like they got to it eventually, but you can see the buffering. Like Strus cuts, Jimmy's here. He's like, cool, whatever. Here comes Bam. Denver again. You're gonna see them load up. Mm-hmm. Everyone is trying to be in early. Does Caleb cut as early, or do they try to attack that closeout? Does Max wait? You know what I mean? Like he drives, which is cool, but does he wait? Like, does Miami have the tempo? Do they make quick decisions? Do they keep the pressure on Denver? They have to keep the advantage up when they get those.
Mm-hmm. I think just that flow of connectivity is going to be very important. And also just keeping an eye on, and this is why I said so during the pod, during the regular season, like just keeping an eye on Bruce Brown off the ball here. Because he kind of passes off Max Strus and then he just sits and stares at it. He's looking that way when Jimmy Butler is the other way, you see. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be very important. And again, just Miami's general movement is going to be important. And Denver's going to want to peel in that help all series long. They got to be able to stay connected on the back end.
Makes sense. To Heather's questions, I think Miami's spacing is going to be a lot better than anything you see in these clips, just because they know who they are more now.
Yeah. And the personnel is going to be different / healthier.
Mm-hmm. Let's keep it going.
Let's keep it going indeed. I think this is going to be Jimmy getting the MPJ matchup once again. So Haywood Highsmith going to set the screen, and then they flow into a pick and roll. You'll quickly note that left side is completely open. Bruce Brown calling out the exit screen on the other side. Common action in the NBA these days. Jimmy engages as a kick out. Haywood doesn't get the three to go. Bam offensive rebound, couldn't get it to go either. And this is eventually going to be Denver ball.
We don't have to run that back, but I think, again, it's very interesting. Miami has the actions and the sets as far as emptying out a corner, getting movement before, double pick and roll, those type of things, where now Denver has to think before they can load up. And I'm interested to see how that works.
I think the only other thing that I would note in this case, which, again, good set, good spacing here, Bruce Brown calls some stuff out. You have a 2v1, Aaron Gordon trying to get back into this play. It wasn't a bad decision from Jimmy Butler to make this kick to the perimeter, but I do wonder how early he's going to be aggressive, because, again, he's going to have windows to attack Jokic, especially if he's going to be on a drop and they don't want to switch this. Like, that's very much just a swipe from Jokic. That's not any kind of verticality call or anything like that. I wonder when he gets into, I'm just taking these layups, and I don't think he can stop me, and what that does to Denver's defense.
I got a question for you.
What's up?
What's more important for Miami to establish early? Jimmy doing Jimmy things or Bam pocket pass score?
I think it's going to be Bam for me, especially coming off the series he just had offensively. I think conceptually Miami's going to breathe easier against Denver's defense, just from a scheme perspective. The personnel is different. But they need Bam to know that he can breathe easier. Okay. So I think I lean Bam there. It's important for both because but like I think I lean Bam in that case.
That makes sense. I think Bam playing well, especially in pick and roll, unlocks so many things. And the pocket's going to be there if Denver's going to stick with the drop. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Going through it.
They're probably going through it.
Yeah, I know. The roll's going to be there if they ever adjust putting two on the ball. Mm-hmm. But again, like the type of pressure that Miami could put on them, they got to hit the right notes. Flip that pork chop. One's in the chat for J-Man. That was a good shot. That was a good shot.
So, do you want to take a quick pause while you flip the pork chop?
Yeah, give me 2 seconds.
Okay. I guess the only thing that I would mention, I think there is going to be some leeway that Miami can play with in terms of Denver switching 1 through 4. Definitely 1 through 3, but 1 through 4 as well. If Denver is willingly giving that switch and giving Jimmy the MPJ matchup, I wonder how intentional Miami is about moving Aaron Gordon out of the way. And again, you can clearly see it in this possession. You get the switch, and then again, the entire left side of the floor is open. Bruce Brown calling things out. If Bam rolls a little bit wider here, there's more of a lob opportunity. Because Jokic very much commits to Jimmy, but again, I don't think he does enough to stop Jimmy from trying to score if he wants to do that. But I do think as important as Aaron Gordon is going to be in the matchup against Jimmy, I am intrigued to see how easy Miami can get out of that matchup, how easy that switch is given up. because I don't really think they had to. But we will keep an eye on it for sure. Also, Haywood Highsmith just has to knock down this shot. That is too open, brother. But we'll get there.
All right, we good. Wait, Tristan Thompson's back on TV?
I mean, he ain't playing. All right.
ESPN was like, yeah, go ahead and hoop, man. Bring that back to us.
Like I said, that man on a two-way. That's crazy. All right. I ain't never, ever had the man on loan. That's amazing. All right, anyway. Oh, geez, this is going to be Jimmy and Aaron Gordon here. And for me, what initially stood out to me, one, corner's empty there. Mm-hmm. The screen navigation from Aaron Gordon is going to be very important in the series. Also, Bam has to knock down that shot consistently in the series. But that's kind of the one thing I have worries about with Aaron Gordon in this matchup. Because I think if it's just a Jimmy ISO, Jimmy post-up, Aaron Gordon's strong enough. That's going to be fine. Will they have him? Denver loves to ice these screens as well. Mm-hmm. That opens up the flips for Bam. He's very good at those. How well can Aaron Gordon navigate? And from there, can Jimmy Butler, can he force the issue? Can he string this out and then force a late switch on Jokic? Or does it just become Aaron Gordon chasing? And what does that open up for Bam on the back end? So Aaron Gordon tries to navigate. Jimmy gets Aaron Gordon on his hip. It's a little shovel, a little wave from Nikola Jokic. That's an easy push shot for Bam. You need to get your food, good sir.
No, we're good. It's cooked. If you go back, you keep running. I think it's very important, and I wonder. I kind of go back to the Knicks series to a degree because Bam has this pocket, and I think what you said on the pod was huge. I think this is a Bam series. I also think this is much more of a natural Bam series, if that makes sense, where he can take these shots as opposed to, hey, they're switching, go score.
Yeah.
But do you worry about Jimmy balancing between, yo, I want to score on all of y'all versus, hey, I'm here to read and make plays? Because that was a concern for me in the Knicks series. I was like, hey, I think New York's going to do a lot of stuff to make Jimmy just not shoot. Mm-hmm. And if Jimmy doesn't shoot, that's a W.
I think that becomes more of a question if Denver gets to the point to where they're bringing Jokic up to the level against these.
Gotcha.
Okay. And in that point, I just wonder, okay, does Jimmy want to try to drive past this? Because this corner isn't empty. Like we've seen possessions with Miami where if they're even if they're going into something early, like they're leaving the corner open intentionally on the left side. We've also seen possessions where it may be set up this way. Max Drew shoot is clear. Let me go.
Yeah.
And so if we do get to the point where Jokic is trying to get up to the level, do we see Jimmy saying, okay, you're slow. I'm just going to get to the rim anyway. Versus I'm just going to make the right play. And then maybe he's kind of out of rhythm there. But also with the way that the Heat are staggering their guys, like there'll still be pockets where Jimmy, quote unquote, has to score anyway. Mm-hmm. So I don't have it as a big concern yet. I'll keep an eye on it. And if we get to game 2 or something, I'm like, well, Steve, you did it again. Then I'll hand you the W. But it's not something I'm not concerned about the balance yet.
Hand me the W. Kathy would disagree.
I see.
But let's go. Next clip.
You know what? I'll let you have it. Speaking of Jokic at the level, this is what it may look like. MPJ peeling in early. Pass to Bam. Waits for the cut from Kyle Lowry. 3-ball for Max Strus.
Now bring this back. Whether it's regardless if it's Jimmy, Duncan, Max, bring it back a little bit.
Okay.
If Miami can get Nikola Jokic, keep going, to come right here, victory. Bam Adebayo now goes from really good roller to elite roller. Because you watch Michael Porter Jr. guarding the low man, he's pulling in. He's here on the catch. That's fantastic. And this is the difference between Miami and the Lakers. Mm-hmm. Not a second of hesitation on this cut. You have to think about it, skip past. We got that. Yep. Denver has to do everything in their power to avoid putting 2 on the ball, in my opinion. Because you put 2 on the ball and you give Miami easy reads, it's a different game. It reminds me of Minnesota to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you remember when in that series when Denver was like, "Hey, we're gonna put 2 on the ball," and Minnesota was like, "Oh my god, we can make
play
plays." That's where it is, and that feels like the balance. Like, I don't imagine they'll do this a ton,
Mm-hmm.
but if they do, look at what it opens up.
Yep.
Michael Porter Jr. is there, Jamal Murray's there, but the ball is always faster than the man.
That it is. I will also very quickly note a couple things. One, Jokic, I see you trying to kick this. That would indeed be a kickball violation. So that's one. KCP's peeled in. He ain't all the way peeled in, though. And with MPJ having to step up anyway, that now has to be higher since KCP isn't even hitting Bam with any kind of bump or anything. Mm-hmm. It's funny Tyler Hero's just spaced all the way out here. So I do wonder from a spacing perspective, because we don't see Tyler Hero until game 3 at the earliest. I do wonder if that means that's going to be Max Strus right here. And then it's Kevin Love over there if he starts. Or if this is going to be Caleb Martin here. Mm-hmm. And then Max Strus stays in that corner. And if that is the case, even with Caleb Martin shooting as well as he is, does that give KCP or whoever that defender is going to be even more leeway to meet Bam here? So this peel-in doesn't have to be as high up as it is. Because Michael Porter Jr. starts in the corner. MPJ is darn near at the free throw line. Like, that's a pretty wide rotation. And the cut from Kyle Lowry opens that up. So I do wonder just how Miami's going to space how this version of Miami spaces, rather. And if that helps Denver help a little bit more aggressively.
I feel you.
But we'll keep an eye on it.
Poor chop delivery at the door. All right, let's go.
Lovely. They're going to ice it. We do get the string out this time from Jimmy Butler. Jokic stays in a drop. Kyle Lowry cuts through, but that gives Jimmy the Jamal Murray matchup. Doesn't get the shot to go. But this is why I asked on the pod, like, hey, what can Miami find if Denver just does not want to late switch Jokic? So it's interesting that we got like the full-blown snake. It's a really good screen from Bam. Jamal Murray peels in a little bit to stunt, and then Kyle Lowry cuts through. And so honestly, if he turns, like, that is a wide open 3 because Jokic is not going out there.
Yeah, definitely is.
But that's a matchup that Jimmy Butler, I would assume, is going to like. He has to knock down that shot. That's the analysis. But that's interesting to me.
I feel you.
If you don't have any more thoughts, then we can now switch to the other side. Run it through one more time. And that's what I have on Jimmy Bam pick and rolls.
Now, to me, and I've said this multiple places out loud, the biggest key for Miami, if you pause it, take away that man that's pointing right there. And if you can't take him away, you make it as hard as possible for him. Because Jokic, he gonna do what he did. And Bam was like, hey, we just gonna try and make it as tough as we can on him. I was like, I see. Mm-hmm. But this man right here, you gotta take away. And the reason why I say that is, and it's not the same as Jalen Brunson, right, Nekias? It's not the Knicks and Nuggets are completely different offenses. So it's not like Jamal just gonna break you down all the time. But you have to take those kind of possessions off the table. You got to try and bother him so they can't lean on that if the movement's not working or transition's not working or Miami scoring. So I'm very interested to watch some of these and see what could happen.
Mm-hmm. Very true, very true. Quick pitch. And this is, I think I said this on the pod, but like, I love the way that Denver opens the side. Because when you think empty side pick and roll, empty corner pick and roll with most teams, they're trying to get the stars involved. This action is starting like here. It's starting on the wing. Mm-hmm. Instead, this is essentially the middle of the floor. Mm-hmm. KCP one pass away, so Tyler Hero has his head here. I would like for him to be, have a different stance so he can kind of play in between two. But structurally, it's KCP one pass away, so you want to remove that nail help. Jamal Murray doesn't need a lot of space to operate with anyway. But with this starting closer to the middle of the floor, Jokic gets to roll into all of this, or he gets to pop into all of this and turn that into an ISO. And if it does flow into like a pop and an ISO or pop into a post-up, Jamal Murray either cuts through and then KCP remains one pass away, and that's just a whole lot of space for Jokic to work with. Or Jamal Murray pops up and he's one pass away, and that's still a lot of space to work with. So I just love how dramatic it is for Denver when they try to clear a side. They really clear a side. And then there's Jamal Murray with the bucket.
And if you bring it back, in all honesty, you can keep rolling until Jamal Murray catches it to the pick and roll. we go back to the pod, and I said the impact of Bam having to guard Jokic and what that means. Obviously, personnel is going to be different, but if you look at Denver's spacing, it's KCP one pass away. That's Michael Porter Jr. in the corner. So if you keep letting it roll, if Bam is going to be stuck to Jokic, like, hey, man, again, we saw this in the Mitchell Robinson Knicks series. I'm here with the roll. That's a lot of space. And so Tyler Hero, it's got to be decision. He's got to be in early.
Yep.
He can't be right there. He's got to start at the nail.
In there,
work out the arrow there. He's got to be there to try and convince Jamal Murray to not turn the corner, knowing that he has to get back out.
Yeah.
But if you let Jamal Murray see this space, you can keep going a little bit. Just a couple clicks. Boom. If he sees this and Jokic is rolling into this and Bam is attached, you're cooked. You're cooked. Because Jamal Murray is now going to turn the corner. And if you let it keep rolling, look at Bam's engagement. I mean, I'm kind of here, but also.
Yep.
Now, Jimmy on Aaron Gordon intrigues me. Because does Jimmy now become the guy who says, I can help? But at the end of the day, that's why they put Aaron Gordon at the dunker spot. Because, hey, if you want to be aggressive, it's a layup for me.
Yep. Or a lob for the dunk. Well, that's just a nice finish there for Jamal Murray. And to your point about Miami help and kind of disrupting things at the bottom, early pick and roll here, close to the wing, but it's still empty side pick and roll. Tyler Hero is peeled in. Get the stunt in case if he tries to cut. Lowry swiping, Jimmy Butler's in, Bam is in and attached still, but he's in. That's 3 bodies. And that's going to be a turnover for Miami. So it's funny that we see it in more of an early offense or a transition clip, but this is the impact of having that, of having the help peeled in early. Instead of him being attached to KCP, Tyler's diving in already. That forces the pass. Not a bad cut from KCP, but that's not Jamal Murray anymore. If you're making someone else make decisions in tight areas, that's not Jamal Murray. Miami may be able to force turnovers. And as you said, Steve, this could just be, hey, who turns the ball over more or who takes care of the ball better? You don't want to give Miami live ball turnovers to play off of.
Quick pause real quick. I'm going to ask a question. This is a safe space.
Yeah, what's up?
Has Skip Bayless run out of neighbors?
Oh, God. He... Because who's
Oh, that was a good point, JRG.
Oh no.
The allergies are ready.
The allergies, that's insane, by the way.
But
well, DC, it appears the answer is no.
Yo.
Now we're going to get philosophy and bad takes. So, you know. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
All right, anyways, continue. It's a valid point, though. Like,
okay. Yeah.
Can Shannon Sharp pull up the first take? I'll watch.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
I don't think Stephen A would do it, but I'd watch.
Man, we get Shannon and Michael Irvin on the same. No, okay. Anyway,
give me Shannon over that puppy that they keep bringing in.
Okay. Anyway, sideline out of bounds possession that popped to me because it looked like Miami was going with the we're putting length on Jamal Murray thing, but without having any of their other good wing defenders in. So now it's just Duncan Robinson on Jamal Murray. So you can imagine how that's going to go. But
which is funny because Duncan Robinson is a person that Denver will probably attack. But anyways, continue.
Yeah, so he tries to fight over. He's already that's just kind of
tough. Go ahead and say it.
If you're on a basketball court, you typically don't want to look like this if your defender's over here. Anyway, also wanted to note the spacing. KCP deep in the corner. MPJ not as deep in the corner, but both wings are pretty much free. and Bam has to account for, again, Jokic as he rolls or pops. And now he's at the 3-point line, so it's just kind of tough. It's beat, but that's also the point of the spacing. So you can't have a little bit more real estate for both of those guys to operate with. Jamal Murray fully engages Bam, turns into a late switch. And so you get the miss, but that is Duncan Robinson fighting with Nikola Jokic. That is not typically going to go well. Now, I think the ball ends up going out of bounds here. So Miami got away with it. But it's just interesting to see that is the bad version of length on Murray. And also just the general dangers of, okay, let's late switch or let's just switch Murray-Jokic actions. Because you're going to create something on the back end. Jokic post up, because you see earlier in this, well, he's starting to seal Duncan Robinson. And he kind of goes out because Jamal wants to cook and there's 6 on the clock. But that does open up some deep seals, and you see what the rest of the back line is. Tyler Hero is small. He's on KCP. He can't really help like that. Kyle Lowry already has the MPJ assignment. He can't really help like that. Jimmy Butler has Aaron Gordon. So in theory, he has the room to roam and help. But because of how deep Jokic is, there isn't really much you can do there. And I'll also just briefly note, like, Denver was a better offensive rebounding team than Miami was in the regular season. That's also held in the postseason. And with the size difference between these two teams, like you touched on the turnovers, that's all going to be very important. But the possession battle can be won with offensive rebounds. And I wonder how much that factors into Miami's willingness to switch as well. Because we can't give up extra chances. We can't give up extra chances, extra shots to this Denver team.
Very true. And I'm curious to see how much they tap the late switch button, the switch button. Heather brings up a good point as far as Murray dominating the ball. I am curious. I don't think it happens. Like, this is a wild thing I'm going to say. Does Miami want to give Jamal Murray bait?
I don't know.
I only say that. Again, wild thing, not correct, just throwing it out there. Yo, if you cook, y'all ain't moving. You just cooking. I'm throwing it out there.
So that was kind of what, game 3 of the Lakers series? Yeah. Is that the one Jamal had the 30+ in the first half?
Like, you go ahead and cook, buddy. Like, you don't want to do that. Like, I wouldn't advise it, but it does intrigue me. And the switchability intrigues me because I do feel like the bit at some point is Jamal, here's Jimmy, Bam, you're on Jokic. This is a switch. What y'all gonna do now?
It's gonna be something to keep an eye on for sure. It's also just like it's an interesting dichotomy between we need to take Jamal Murray away versus, hey, actually you do whatever you want. So we can stop the rest of the offense. So I do wonder which side of the coin Miami lands on in that regard. We'll move to the next clip. I just like the flow from Denver on this one. It's going to be another Murray Jokic pick and roll. I'll again note the spacing. MPJ is about to go to the corner. KCP's pretty deep in here. Left wing wide open for Jokic to roll into. A lot of space for Jamal Murray to drive right into. And with as important as Miami's help is and the way they like to load up, if you're able to remove that help early, it just makes it a lot more difficult to defend these two together. So easy pocket pass to Jokic. That's just a lot to work with. And Bam has to work back to Jokic here. And the only helper, in theory, is Tyler Hero, who, one, is small, is not going to do too much. And two, he has KCP. And KCP is very good in both corners. So, again, really good job for Denver removing the help from Miami. And then there's your flow. Now it flows to an empty side handoff / pick and roll, whatever you want to call it. Kyle Lowry's peeled in. KCP makes it not matter with the bucket. But Miami has to do a lot of work. And the fact that Denver, at the beginning of the possession, said, actually, we're not going to let you load up. And you have not only that, based on where there's space, you have the pick and roll happening right as Michael Porter Jr. is clearing the corner as well. So occupying that side of the floor. As, Jamal is driving to the side with 2, technically, and to the side with Jimmy Butler, who is on Aaron Gordon so he can roam. But you occupy those 2. You have all of this space. And again, Jamal Murray is really good in operating in tight quarters anyway. And your lone helper on the weak side is Tyler Hero. That's money for Denver to work with.
Yes. And like we talk about the culture chart for Denver, but Miami, it's different. Your job is to bring Denver into the mud. Denver is very good at, hey, we're also moving. We're also making quick decisions. You got to decide. So, yeah, Kyle Lowry does his job, But if KCP wanted to, he could have advanced that ball.
Yep.
So that's where it's like, oh, well, if Denver hits these notes, it could be a rough time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want that man to get a wide open shot. That's just kind of tough. But that's really good flow from Denver. So I wanted to highlight that one. Next one, it's technically going to be Murray Jokic, but it really turns into Murray Gordon. And I'm also wanting to highlight this possession just because of Jokic kind of popping out here, how it removes Bam as a helper here. So Miami switches that. Your only helper, which that's just funny to see Tyler in the freeze frame here. That's not typically what that looks like.
Shoulder lean.
My brother in hoop. But anyway, so Tyler's peeling over, but like I don't know what that means. Max Strus has to split, but I don't really know what that means. Bam's up here because he knows he can't leave. One, Jokic can shoot, but beyond that, if he leaves, that can just be a quick handoff, quick pitch to Jamal Murray. He gets the flow into some stuff, and then you're scrambled again. So I think this possession ends with Kyle Lowry committing a foul. And to the Aaron Gordon mismatch point, to the X Factor point that I made on the pod, like if he does get these size mismatches, whether he's in the dunker spot, whether he's used as a roller, or even if he just gets these random post-ups, he has to punish those. Because if he's also making Miami pay, there's only so much you can do to stop this Denver offense. You already allocate a lot of resources to stopping Jokic and Murray.
Mm-hmm.
We know MPJ can just shoot over the top. We know KCP can knock down shots. If Aaron Gordon is an offensive threat and you're trying to stash non-Jimmy guys on him, or in this case you had Jimmy, but that turns into a switch, you run out of actions at a certain point.
No, it makes sense. And I think this is one of those things where Miami's like, we'll live with this. Mm-hmm. We'll live with Aaron Gordon going to work until you can't. Yeah. And so that's one of the things will be a fun dynamic to see. When does Miami switch? When does Denver switch? How does each team make them pay? Like, that's fun stuff. Great stuff, guys.
Thank you. We move to the next one. We now get Jimmy Butler on Jamal Murray once again. Murray Jokic pick and roll. We are going to see a switch. We now have Jimmy Butler on Jokic. Quick seal. That's a catch. Where's the help going to come from? Jamal Murray's one pass away. Bam wants to be there. KCP's in this corner. Tyler Hero can't come. It's just quick processing. That's an easy catch and shoot opportunity for Jamal Murray. If Bam's on the perimeter, it really strains out Miami's defense.
Bring it back to the start. And this is a credit to Nikola Jokic. Mm-hmm. There you go. Selected my mic. This is a credit to Nikola Jokic. And also, it's going to be very curious to see what Bam can do impact-wise in this series. Because I said, hey, the bit might be we put Jimmy on Jamal, we put Bam on Jokic, we switch. Can Miami live with this without Bam being right there? Because Jokic's process is too fast. Mm-hmm. He wastes no time. Like Bam didn't commit. Bam is literally just like, hey, I'm in early.
Yeah, so I can get out.
Showing help. I know where Jamal is. And while he's doing that, Jokic is like, I see you. You're still here. Bye. And that's where it's like, okay, if Miami gets into a position where they're going to switch, they have to switch and live with whatever they do.
Mm-hmm. Jim's going to have to put the big boy pants on because you don't want to give up three.
No, you can't let Jokic be a scorer and a playmaker.
Yeah.
I don't want to go full Steve Nash with this, but you can't let him do both.
Well, there you go. So we talked about Jimmy Bam. They're switching that pick and roll and how hard it is to help. Now we get a little bit of mismatch hunting from Denver. So Kyle Lowry has the Murray matchup this time. But wait, KCP's going to screen. Hey, Tyler Hero. And now we're going to go into this pick and roll. And again, look at where this pick and roll is starting. Look at how much space is on this left side. Mm-hmm. Until KCP cuts through. But what that does is remove Kyle Lowry. Jamal Murray gets a bucket.
If you bring it back, that's a really good cut from KCP. Mm-hmm. Normally, how many clips? Where you go? Well, hold on.
We got it.
Oh. Okay. I was like, wait.
So I forgot this was the last one, so it just.
No, you're good. we get the switch. So if you hold it as soon as Jokic gets to like the level of the screen, keep going a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Pause it right here. Go back a little bit. Sorry, before KCP's cut. That's on me.
Okay. Right.
In theory, if everything holds how it is, Bam should be able to be drop adjacent. Kyle Lowry is not in position, but he should be up a little bit higher on the court towards that free throw line, towards that top of the key line, towards that nail area, so he can provide some assistance. What happens is, if you let it keep going, KCP cuts. Now let it keep going. Hold right here. Look at what Jamal Murray sees. It's not just Bam in front of him. Look at this right side of the court.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the space that he sees. So if Bam's going to be in a drop because he can't switch and they're not putting two on the ball, Jamal has room to work with. So if you let it keep going, Jamal is going to go to work. He can play around.
Yep.
Look, pause it. Bam has a decision to make. Hero has not recovered back in front. Jokic is in a short roll area. Bam is like, I see the ball. I see that. That's Max Strus, right?
Yes.
He's trying to help. It's a lot of help off Bruce Brown. Good Lord. But he can only do so much. So if you keep going, who's going to hold? Who's going to hold? No one. No one ever engaged the ball. No one ever held. So Jamal got to lead the dance. And if Denver gets that, we get to the talking points of Nuggets in 4 and 5.
Yep, I like the hesitation here. And then you get another one right there, and that opens up Bam. So now you're not even going to get a contest here because Bam's off balance. And that's just a tough shot. Decent recovery from Tyler Hero at the very end, but it didn't matter at that point because to your point, Steve, Jamal Murray got to lead the dance. And so that is the end of that pick and roll section. We'll go to the Jokic post-ups, take a quick break.
I will say this. Again, I said it a lot, but I love Jokic versus Bam. Just like from a pure basketball perspective. I love – because Bam – like everyone loved Rui on Jokic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bam has all the Rui stuff with the addition of being a big. So, hey, I can mess with you. I can try and fight you out of position. I can try and front. I can try and fight. Mm-hmm. Jokic ultimately – is bigger than this man. Mm-hmm. And when he catches and he goes right to work, so I'm interested to watch these.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun. I'll also very briefly be respectfully messy here. So to the Rui on Jokic thing, see, the issue is that Bam is like Rui sized and he's the center. And that just gets kind of tough.
No, I was going to say, based on what Flyball said, Bam is basically Rui and AD. And that's the problem for Miami.
Yeah.
He's both.
Yeah, we'll call that a big problematic. So I think on this one, it's going to be a Jokic bucket. Boys are going to be a Jokic bucket. Bam has his work cut out for him. He's already going to have to work very hard against Jokic. And so Denver is extra rude. And they basically say, well, Bam, actually, we want you to work before you have to work. Mm-hmm. So not only is in one thing, there's got like a cross for Jokic. Oh, no. Jokic's going to stay for Bruce Brown. He's then going to fly off for 2 screens before Bam even gets there. So Gabe Vincent has the Bruce Brown matchup. Miami, as we saw in some of the earlier clips, Miami is comfortable helping off of Bruce Brown. Now, you quibble about whether they should do that or not, but they are comfortable doing so. What does Bruce Brown do? Let me cut through. That's a whole lot of space. As Bruce Brown cuts through, Jokic puts the ball on the floor. Let's work. Max Strus is there, but he ain't there. And that's just tough.
I mean, it's great activity from Bam, but you can only do so much.
Takes the initial bump. He trying. Bop. That ain't want to see. Little swing. Little bucket. Jokic is very good at basketball, which is the analysis. Very good. Back to the point for Miami. This is going to start with a ball screen. It can pop for you. This essentially turns into a pitch. And Jamar, that's not what you want to see ever. I am sorry. Jokic immediately goes to work. Yo,
bring it back a little bit. Yo, I want y'all. And this is the stupid stuff I did when I was a video coordinator. I'll just look at players' reactions. If you go back to when Jokic caught it and saw who was guarding him. Watch Jokic. As soon as he saw who was on him, he's like, "Oh no, I'm going right to work." And his processing power is so quick, where he sees the help coming, and he's like, "I could make this pass, but also, like look at this is how ridiculous Nikola Jokic is. Bring that back real quick, just real quick. Watch this man. Ooh, y'all switched? Oh, bet. Dot, help coming somewhere. Pause. I saw you, Michael Porter Jr. You're wide open. But I know Bam Adebayo is concerned about what this looks like. So I'm going to spin. I see him. I see you, Bam. You think I'm shooting it. Got you. Skip.
He is looking. He's looking at Bam as he makes the pass. That's the funny part to me. He sees that. He's like, oh, there's Bam. Cool. Let me stare deeply into your eyes as I make this pass to where you were. And Bruce Brown's like, cool, thanks. I will just knock this down. Jokic is insane.
And that's where Miami is a early load team. They have to make sure they're in their spots before. If you react to what Jokic is doing, he's too smart. He's too smart. He knows where the spacing is. Like, if you remember Joel Embiid, no one cut. I know where all y'all are. Jokic does that even while y'all cutting. It's wild. Anyways, continue.
It's a pick and roll that turns to a post up. Denver looks like they go into Spain. So I wanted to highlight just how quickly they recognize, wait a minute, Jokic has an opening. And how quickly KCP also recognizes, wait, Jokic is going to have an opening. So I'm just going to start to lift real quick. Because they throw that entry pass into him, Mr. Haywood Highsmith, you cannot help. You don't want to help anyway because you're guarding me, but I'm also going to move to stress this out even further. And so now as Jokic turns, after finally getting the ball, he don't see nothing but space and opportunity. Waits for it. That's a foul. That's an easy one. I think the other broader point is that even with the Jokic post-ups, it doesn't have to be a post-up set for it to turn into a Jokic post-up. So Miami has to deal with everything Denver can do on the perimeter, whether it's handoff stuff, pick and roll stuff, different variety they can throw in with their pick and rolls. And if you feel like you defend that well, Jokic can just seal whenever he wants to. And with the way Denver buzzes off the ball, it makes it even more difficult for Miami to load up help. Because it turns into pick and roll, let me get reattached into, wait, it's a post-up. We can't load up anything. You're up here, you're in the corner, KCP's lifting. There's no help. Jokic gets with his left hand, and now it's just a layup opportunity for the man. It's just really tough to deal with.
He's very good. He makes you think a lot, man. Like I brought up hey, make Jokic score, and that sounds tremendous until he does it, and also Denver does everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just gets tough. So I think this possession is going to be one that Christian Brown gets a bucket off a cut, and this is Miami trying to load up their help. So pick and roll, catch at the middle. Haywood Highsmith's in early, and then he's getting back out of there. Which is risky to do that for MPJ, but you got to do something. So he gets out there, turns to a one-on-one. But
now, I know it's Big Lando, but there are going to be times where Miami has someone not named Bam on him. So keep that in mind. And look at what, like as Nekias was pointing out, the space that Jokic operates with. And where do you load up the help? But that's the point. If you go back to the catch, Miami, very good at loading up help, very good at taking things away. But with Denver's movement, and that's a good cut by Jeff Green. Let's take away. Where are you loading up from? You don't know if Jokic is going to go to work or initiate another action. So as he keeps going,
as soon as Haywood gets back out there, he's starting to his left.
Yeah, hey, I got this space.
And so in theory, okay, we don't care about Ish Smith shooting. We don't care about Jeff Green shooting. We don't care about Christian Brown shooting. In theory, you should be able to load up from here. But
again, it's sudden. He's already in this move.
He's in the move and then peep Christian Brown. That's not bad defense, but look at the placement. That's also the power of Jokic. That should not be a scoring opportunity. This should not be a cut opportunity.
Bring it back.
But because he's insane.
As you keep going, whenever you're done, bring that back.
We will. finds himself here, and that's going to end up turning into a layup.
Dude, can we, like, I know the Jokic discourse and whatever, but watch this man's processing. Cool, you're here, dribble, spin, pause it. I see a person coming towards me. Look at where Jokic is looking. Look at where Jokic is looking. There is someone trying to assist this man. Yo, keep it going a little bit.
It looks like a shot.
It does. Got you. What is wrong with that man, dude?
That's the other part, and that's also the brilliance of Denver spacing it this way, too. There's going to be Jokic in the middle of the floor. Not only is MPJ your best shooter, he's also your tallest guy. Like, this is Big Lando at the 5. This is Haywood Highsmith at the 4. You're effectively removing both of them. So, again, this is going to be a tight area in the cut, but Jamari Bouye small, Gabe Vincent small, Max Strus going to be up here. So he gets this in. Look what he's looking at. The rim protection's gone. Like, Lando wants to commit. He can't really do that because he still has to account for where Jokic is. Which is why he ends up behind Gabe Vincent and, touching the rim or whatever. And that's a layup for Christian Braun. Even when you try to load up help, and even when you have less than ideal spacing in theory, Jokic is good enough to create stuff out of it anyway. And it's just kind of tough. Last one I have, I think another middle of the floor post up possession for Jokic. Pick and roll, doesn't work. Jokic sets up shop. We'll quickly note the spacing here. KCP by himself in this corner. Got 3 guys here. Gabe Vincent peeled in, but not really peeled in a real help position. He comes over, but now it's kind of late. Fakes towards the help. That's just rude. We'll also note Caleb Martin technically splitting as Gabe Vincent comes over to help. MPJ starting to cut right behind that. So if Jokic wanted it, you got MPJ right here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a highlight bucket for Jokic, but it also shows, like, again, you have to really key in on your help, and even that might not matter. Denver also very good at playing against your help.
I'm very intrigued. Does Denver get Jokic the ball in the middle of the floor based on what he's done to Miami here and the pressure that puts on Miami's defense? Like, I want to see, does Denver tap that button or do they play their game?
I don't know, like, going through the clips between yesterday and today, like, I don't know how many answers Miami has when Jokic is at the middle of the floor. And again, like, that one is just a nasty bucket, but it's really freaking difficult to stop Nikola Jokic.
All right, what you got for us now, Professor?
Professor, he says. We're going into some
that was praise.
I appreciate it. It's very kind. We're going into some Jimmy Butler isolations. I think we have 5 of these. This one's going to start with a miss. Bam's going to end up missing on this one. But want to point out, he does get Bruce Brown early on this one. Moves him quite a bit. Jokic peels over. Bam going to relocate. Those relocations from the dunker spot are going to be very important for Miami. It's a consistent way that they kind of play against help coming over. So Bam is here. Jokic keeping an eye on it. He steps up, make sure Jimmy doesn't have an easy shot window against the smaller Bruce Brown. There's Bam finding a pocket, and he has to knock down these shots in this series. I think you'll notice with these clips, it's very, very consistent that Jokic peels in early, or he peels over. Mm-hmm. It kind of preloads against some stuff. So you get Christian Braun on this one.
Hey, buddy. Hey, nice to see you. Hey, look, but here's the thing. And this is where, honestly, if you bring it back a little bit, this is where I wondered, how much can Miami get Kevin Love versus Jokic? Because Jokic's natural ability, and we've seen it before, whether it's Cody Zeller, whether it's Bam, they'll put their big at the elbow and try and dive based on the help the big gives. Jokic is pulling over. He's basically the primary help. The rest of Denver's defenders, like, literally, as a Michael Porter Jr., looking either in the corner or to the crowd. Can you put pressure on Jokic to have to defend someone who's spaced? And that's where I'm like, and I know I said on the pod, I don't like Kevin Love versus Jokic, but also that could be a pressure point.
And that's going to be a miss for Jamari Poulier. But you even see, again, Orlando Robinson doing a similar thing to what Bam did in that first clip. Like, all right, cool. If he's stepping up and then accounting for this, I can find this little soft spot right here. And we kind of stress things out from there. Because Bruce Brown's going to follow him. And that's what opens up this catch-and-shoot opportunity. And with this different and healthier personnel from Miami, that's not going to be him in this series. That might be Caleb Martin. That might be Duncan Robinson. That may be making it a little bit tougher for Denver to load up against some of these Jimmy Butler ISOs. And if so, what level of aggression do we see from Jimmy Butler? And ultimately, what level of efficiency do we see from Jimmy Butler? So we will keep an eye on it. And so on this possession, we get Jimmy Butler looking for Michael Porter Jr. Says, actually, no, to your cycling through matchups point, Steve. So we get this. Jokic starting to step up. Bruce Brown's already here. I think that's Vlatko peeling over at the nail. Doesn't really do anything, though. So he sees the space. Good screen on the back end. That's a 3 for Max Strus. Really good pin in there from Orlando Robinson.
And that's one of the things I'm interested about. Is Denver ready for screening actions, spacing, movement? It's one thing to attack matchups, and I think Jimmy likes this matchup. But it's another thing when Miami's like, hey, we're also doing stuff over here.
Yep.
Denver's been very good with their defense holding out and showing early help, but also these teams have been static. No offense to Minnesota, no offense to Los Angeles, no offense to Phoenix even. Mm-hmm. These teams don't necessarily move or create some of these opportunities. And that's where, again, Jimmy has been a massive scorer in these playoffs. But Jimmy's first instinct is to what, Nekias?
Look for others.
So if he can draw help, now guess what we have?
We got everybody going.
Yep.
And you'll see Haywood Highsmith goes to the dunker spot. Now he's going to come back. Again, Miami. We saw it in the Boston series as well. Whether it's Bam or whoever else, we may start in the left dunker spot. We'll go to the right one. We'll cut across. So now you have Haywood Highsmith relocating and then coming back as Jokic steps up. You have the pin in here. You got 2 guys open if you want to force the issue enough. Bruce Brown starting to retreat. But that's going to be a lot of things for Denver to account for. And again, the personnel is going to be different in this series. So we'll see how keyed in Denver's help will be. We are going to get, I think we're going to get a Jamari layup out of this possession. Clear side for Jimmy. Here comes Jokic. Orlando starting to move. That's going to be a kick. Jokic doing Steve's favorite thing. That's going to be a bucket. I will say also, if Denver is going to peel the help in, it's going to have to be early. The fact that Jokic is, it feels like he's late coming to this. He cleanses and then tries to come over. Jimmy times out the attack. Stutter rip. Orlando Robinson going to duck. Haywood Highsmith overs in the corner. Great manipulation here by Jimmy. Looks like he's going corner. That's why Christian Brown turns that way. Wide open kick. Miami able to maintain the advantage that's created. And again, very important shot contesting series for Jokic. And we will see, 1, if he's up to the challenge, 2, if he's able to do so without fouling. And this is also something that Steve brought up on the podcast. Jokic is going to have to stay on the floor, which is the analysis, but very important he doesn't find himself in foul trouble. That changes a lot of what Denver wants to do on both ends if he is. And I think the last one we have is going to be a Jimmy Butler bucket. Jimmy as a screener. Doesn't even have to set the screen, but Denver gives up that switch early. Has Jamal Murray. We've got some movement out here to remove the help, occupy the help. Now he attacks.
Now bring that back. Bring that one all the way back.
All right.
And this is something you've mentioned. I know what's my man's name from Miami? Brady. Brady mentioned as well.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Butler as a screener.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen this in the playoffs. Him as a screener, as most NBA teams work to reverse engineer a switch. What I mean by that is, if you hold it right here, pause it. Instead of having Jimmy Butler with the ball and trying to make Gabe set a screen and get a switch that way, no, I'm going to screen. Mm-hmm. And now you're going to switch. Now, I anticipate Denver to start this series switching this matchup
Mhm.
and giving Jimmy the Jamal matchup to start. I only say that because literally the all-time leading scorer in the NBA,
Mhm.
Denver gave that switch. So, Jimmy Butler, all due respect, you're going to probably get the same treatment to start. So if you keep it going, Jimmy's able to get the switch that way.
Mhm.
Now, how comfortable does Denver feel right here in this very moment, ladies and gentlemen?
That's a good question.
So if you keep it going,
Maybe get some split
we
action.
got the catch, we got the matchup, and again, this is Miami weak side things.
Mhm.
You have to deal with something, whether it's a cut, whether it's a split. You have to think about or handle something. And remember, Nekias,
Mhm.
Boston, excellent early help team. Am I wrong?
No.
You remember games, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, where Boston was next to their man.
Mhm.
Boston was turning their head and being like, is my man still here? We're good. It's not as big of a culture shock as Miami will experience, but Denver has to be ready for that. And now you keep it going. Look at the space that Jimmy sees.
Yep.
There's no early help loaded up. He can go right to work. And that's a key point.
Yep. And you think about one, Duncan Robinson, they go into split action, but then from here, like Duncan Robinson one pass away, it's a fake handoff.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of fake handoff, you're removing that help. Look at where Aaron Gordon's looking.
Mm-hmm.
He can't be the next guy up to step up here.
Mm-hmm.
And as DeAndre Jordan's starting to step up, Orlando Robinson's getting ready to do the same thing. Like, okay, cool. If you're cutting here to step up for help, let me relocate to this other side. Or just
Your Aaron Gordon point is astute. If you can bring back 4 seconds,
okay,
just back to where he was looking. Okay, keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
Hold it right here. Aaron Gordon's responsibility. If you take that arrow, you put it right there at the nail. He's supposed to be there.
Yep.
Look at where he is, and look at what Jimmy Butler sees. Does he see a body taking anything away? No. He sees a lane.
Yep.
And if Jimmy Butler has a matchup and he sees a lane, it's a different story. Does playoff Jimmy attack on the catch or still wait for the off-ball actions? A mixture?
Let's say probably yes.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a mixture. Like you still get the hesitancy, but I feel like it's it's weird. There's times where he's like, I got the matchup, I'm going to work. And there are times where he's like, I got the matchup, what y'all doing? And Miami needs the former instead of the latter.
Oh boy. And there's a clean bucket there. I think that's it for the Jimmy ISOs. We have, I think, 4 clips on the Bam front. And that the theme of that one for me was just it's going to be Bam aggression, but the timing of when he attacks, I think, is also going to be important in light of how Denver wants to load up its help, and in light of Miami's cutting to counter that help. How well can Bam time this out, and can he convert from there? So cross screen gets Bam a touch. You'll see Ish Smith's here. Jamal going to cut through. Little jab series. He starts. Christian Brown's here because the guy he was guarding is all the way up here. Still a shot that Bam can make. Does not get it to go. Good offensive rebound for Caleb Martin. But again, spacing is going to be important. How Miami counters that help is going to be important. And the timing of Bam's attacks are going to be important.
So if you pause and go to that half speed, look at what Bam sees.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested to see, does Denver show help early against Bam? Or is Bam going to have this room to work? Because if you hold it right here, there's an option. Hey, we don't want you to score. So it's Smith, right?
Yes.
He's at the elbow. He could be a little bit lower to try and dissuade that right-hand drive. But, obviously, regular season game. Kind of there, kind of not. Which Bam do we get on these catches? Is he looking for a handoff and it's a good cut, by the way, because now that cut clears that elbow help. And Christian Braun he's helping off Gabe Vincent. Yep. He's not necessarily in to discourage Bam from going to work. And this is where Bam's got to got to make these plays, got to make those shots, even if it's not as heavy as in the Boston series. It's especially if you think about the quote unquote second unit where Jokic is off the court and it's Aaron Gordon, it's Jeff Green. I don't know how the lineup's going to work out, but whether it's Bam or Jimmy on the court, they're going to have to go to work against those folks.
Very true, very true. And like to your point, again, I agree with you. Christian Brown's in, but he's not in. And this is a very comfortable gather for Bam. Like you don't have hand swiping or anything like that. This is just, okay, I am getting to a spot that I like. I am getting the elevation that I need. I can knock this down. Decent rear view contest here, but ultimately that's a shot that he's comfortable with. Doesn't go with Caleb Martin just doing Caleb Martin things, but there has to be a level of, even if it isn't full blown, we sending help, we swarming you on the catch, et cetera, that we saw in some of the Boston series. It has to be a little bit more than that to where Bam can't comfortably get into his jumpers. So something worth keeping an eye on. Second one, this is going to end with Max Strus getting the ball and missing, but this is what happens when the help's peeled in. Bam bringing it up, has Jokic in front of him. He also has this. KCP's here, Bruce Brown's here, Jokic is here. Doesn't like what he sees. There's the flow that Denver's got to worry about as well. Jokic just peeled in. Like, okay, cool. Next, Strus hit some nonsense from here. Oh, no, this is going to be the next league hit some nonsense.
Denver's defense was good here.
Yes.
As you mentioned, as Bam looks to, hey, I might go to work here, which way are you going to go, buddy?
Yep, he didn't have an option, really.
If you hold it right here like you did, where are you going to go? So I can't go to work. So let's keep it moving. We keep working. Hey, pass it. I'll get a screen. If you pause it, this is the biggest key. Nikola Jokic in a drop. You can talk about Nikola Jokic's defense all you want. It's improved, whatever. He can be in a drop ×2 because of Denver's early help. Because Bruce Brown is right there, Nikola Jokic doesn't have to move. He doesn't have to react. Bruce Brown basically has that first level of defense. And if you get past that and KCP doesn't recover, now Jokic may think about it. And Michael Porter Jr. is in and working to get back out. And that's why Denver's help defense is so important. Because if they're able to load up and they're able to dictate terms, it changes the story. Like Miami eventually gets to a look that I guess they'll take. Like it's a good contest. But if that early help is able to load up, if the weak side rotation is able to be in, what do you have, Miami?
Going to have some odd possessions if they aren't able to find that flow. So I think this next possession, this is going to be the one that Max Strus hit some nonsense at the end. But it's also a point to, again, Bam waiting out the cut, immediately attacking once he has the space. So Gabe's going to clear. Jamari's going to cut. And as soon as he cuts...
Pause it. Look at what Bam has to work with. And he knows it. He knows it. He knows it. I can go either way if I want to. Keep going.
Yep. And that's when he gets aggressive. Once he sees that. Jeff Green is... blood's frozen. Hasn't moved in a week. When Highsmith bobbles the ball, gets it back. And so it turns into nonsense. But again, keeping an eye on the timing of that attack from Bam. Max Strus, this is the nonsense. End of the clock. But this all starts with, here's the touch. Gabe's going to clear. KCB's out the way. I can kind of go both ways, but I know Ish is at the nail. Jamari's going to cut through. And as soon as he cuts through, crossing back over to the left. All right, it's time to go. I can go left. I can go right. We have removed help from both sides. Max Strus is one pass away, technically. Christian Brown has his back turned, so there's no help peeled in from here. Jeff Green controller dies, so it's the right read for Bam. Pass just was bobbled. And so that's where it comes to the nonsense. But for Bam to be aggressive, the time is going to have to be there. The aggression is going to have to be there. Heck of a shot for Max Strus, but early portion of the possession is what really popped for me in this one. And then last one's going to be a relatively short one. It's going to end with a Jokic foul. Just a general Bam has to be aggressive point. Has to win the matchup. Gabe Vincent going to clear. As soon as he does, let's go. Right into the chest. Jokic gets the hands in there. It's a foul. Mm-hmm. So again, it's not just will Bam be aggressive. Obviously going to be important. When does he see the space? How quickly does he recognize he has the space? And what does he do with it? This is immediate.
Keep going.
No, I was going to say it's immediate. Gabe's gone. Back turn. He's here on the dunker spot. MPJ has Max Strus one pass away. He's out here. Real estate. As soon as that clears, he's gone.
Now, here's an interesting point. Mm-hmm. If you bring it back to that face-up, keep going. I mentioned in the Lakers series, hey, can Jokic be tall and contest? Mm-hmm. How important, Nekias, is it for Bam to not just do the short roll, pick and roll, that good stuff, but hey, man, I'm quick. I can dribble. You have to guard me. How many times do you have to win this battle?
He's got to win it handily. I think Jokic's going to do so much on the other end. Like, this is how Bam's going to have to be able to get this back. And the drawing foul is going to be the bonus. But he's going to have to put pressure on Jokic. Because if it turns into Bam faces up, goes pump, fake, pass, ultimately Jokic doesn't have to work too much. And that gives him, one, that gives him bail on the defensive end. But two, that also allows him to just conserve energy and allow him to be even more of a beast on the other end of the floor. So Bam's going to have to win these more often than not. That's what I said on the pod. Like, this is set up for him. If he has, like, the intermediate shot going, and if he is aggressive, like, this is a series he can average 22 to 25 points a game. He averaged 20 and a half in the regular season series while converting 43% of his shots. He didn't have it and averaged 21 points. If he does, and if he gets to the free throw line, this can be a high-scoring series for him.
I echoed your sentiments on the Low Post podcast. I think, in a way, this is set up for Bam to be Bam. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, pick and roll play, I can do a lot more of that. And now I can mix in some of these one-on-one attacks. As opposed to the Boston series where, hey, I kind of have to nail all of these attacks versus switches. Mm-hmm. Or these attacks versus Robert Williams. These attacks versus Al Horford. Like, I have to nail all of this one-on-one stuff. Mm-hmm. I can now get back to a little bit of a blend where, okay, I can put pressure on Jokic, but also pick and roll, pop, pocket pass, let's go to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, there's that. We got two more videos, folks. We will go Denver versus Miami zone and Buddy. Did Denver have some fun? Especially with Jokic in. During the regular season series, 9 zone reps for Denver's offense with Jokic on the floor. 1.67 points per possession on those trips, which is essential. It's basically a guaranteed bucket.
I'm a little curious. You only picked 2 zone clips. I was expecting 15 for a masterclass.
No, it's just it would have got repetitive with some of the stuff, honestly. So we have Jokic bringing the ball up on this one. I think this is the very first zone possession that Denver saw against Miami this season.
Now, pause it. Bring it back a little bit, if you don't mind. I'm sorry. But this is the issue. Miami zone is very good at matching up, and we're good. Denver is very good at continuing to do what they do. So if you notice, who is on Nikola Jokic right now?
That is Haywood Highsmith.
Who, and like I know the personnel is going to be different, but Bam's going to be where Big Lando is. Mm-hmm. Who are you passing Nikola Jokic to if he decides I'm not moving? That's the problem.
Yep.
You want to stay matched up? That's cool. Do you want to stay matched up with Haywood on Jokic? Look at that. Some of y'all went to some of these high schools. You went to the dances where you had to leave enough room for Jesus. That man left enough room for Jesus.
They're like, Big Lando has to cleanse here. And now it's to the matchup point. Here on Bones Highland, which neither one of y'all are here right now. Cool. Kyle Lowry on Bruce Brown. Big Lando, Jamal Murray in the corner. Max Strus on Vlatko. You got Haywood Highsmith on Jokic. That is not ideal.
So pause it. Miami's matched up. Well, they're not anymore, which that's the whole point to distort Miami's matchup. But do you like the matchups you have? No.
Let's go through the line. Sure. No. Cool. The one matchup we like is Max Strus and Vlatko Chanchar. Everything else is either or no.
You keep it going. Miami's trying to work back to their shape. Like, this is the thing about Miami's zone. It's a zone, but the key is we are matched up on a person. So they're going to work back to it. If you look at it, Tyler Hero here, working back to the corner. Big Lando on Jokic. We're recovering. This is fantastic, except look at where Jokic is and look at where Big Lando is. We've done our job, except we did not do our job because Nikola Jokic is 4 feet from the rim with his defender back to him. Oh, no. What's going to happen?
And on top of that, and the funny part is that portion isn't even going to matter on this clip because Haywood Highsmith leaves his feet at the which now creates a 2v1 with Tyler Hero. As soon as Tyler Hero shifts his weight forward to go to Bones Island, that is Bruce Brown. And Bruce Brown can shoot. And that's going to be a bucket.
Yep.
And that's the first rep. And Miami got, if I can rewind a little bit, that is, 3 something left on the shot clock? Yep. That was ultimately good stuff for Miami. That was their version of good stuff. And it ends in a Bruce Brown 3. It's very tough. And so this is the one I like poorly referenced on the pod. You just inbounded to Jokic. It was actually baseline versus sideline, but they're already distorting the matchups. KCP is sealing Bam, which is just hilarious. So here's the inbound pass. It's Jokic versus Jimmy Butler. Bam is here. Duncan Robinson on Bones. You got Gabe Vincent on KCP.
Now hold it.
That's 2.
This should be an advantage for Miami. Like, I know there's 2 on the other side, but Jokic has the ball. We got help loaded up. This looks fantastic. What happens?
Well, Jimmy tries to swipe. And so now it's you and me, which, all right, cool. However, it's also me and you and also you. And Max is like, wait, that's MPJ. And then Bam's like, wait, this is Jokic. And like, wait, I got a lane. And now Denver's like, wait, I got a bucket. The processing is very quick.
Me and you, yo mama and your cousin too. Shout out to Duz. I just want to give audio to his comment.
That's just easy. That's way too easy. See, this is why I only got 4 of these. I'm just like, hey man, Denver just did the thing. So now you have Jokic bringing it up. Miami likes to match up early, but because Jokic is bringing it up, that means one of the guards has to pick him up. And so fakes the handoff. Look at where Jokic is. He is inside the arc. So you technically have Bam. You technically have Kyle Lowry. You got some distortion up top. We flip this. Really strong drive from MPJ. Good Lord, Duncan Robinson. My brother in who.
So Jokic disordered their whole zone with a fake handoff. Like, watch. Everyone's matched up. We're all good, except, pause it. Now we're not good. No one's good. No one is good. Michael Porter Jr. is guarded. Jokic is not. Bam is like, Duncan Robinson's like, nah, no, none of this is good.
Who got him? Fine, I'll take him.
I got it.
And as soon as Duncan does that, MPJ gonna go back door. Like, all right, great, we back matched up, which technically means Tyler Hero. Yeah, but anyway.
Hey man, hey,
that's just,
hey, Duncan Robinson did a whole lot of work to be disrespected like this. Duncan Robinson switched on to Jokic, got back in front, switched back to Michael Porter Jr., and his result is this.
Oh!
The guy.
Oh! But MPJ is here. That's MPJ sent that man to the Broncos.
Dog, basketball is unfair. Duncan Robinson, go back. Duncan Robinson did everything he was supposed to do, dog. He did everything he was supposed to do. He got up early, brushed his teeth, took a shower, ate some breakfast. Hey, handoff, cool. Jokic right here. I got him. Now, don't worry about it. We good. Oh, there's Michael Porter. I got him. We good. We good. Ah! Ah! No!
It's just tough, you know. It's just tough.
Mom, I'm scared.
Go pick me up. It's so tough. And so this is just going to be the processing speed of Nikola Jokic here. Again, he didn't bring it up, but he's up top, which means as Miami tries to match up early in his zone, it's Tyler Hero versus Jokic. That's not what you want. He's just going to find the pocket. You have a 2v1 that is Jokic here, Big Langos here, Vlatko in the corner. Look at how quickly this happens.
Okay. No, keep going, but bring it back. Jokic is rude as hell for this. Hey, that's Tyler. Is that Tyler Hero or Max Strus?
That's Tyler Hero. That is Max
Strus. Hey, Tyler, you want this matchup? No, you don't. Okay, that's cool. Now watch Tyler releases like, I don't want to guard this man. But Max Strus is still guarding the ball, and Jokic just stopped. And y'all are cooked. That's it. It's over.
That's all over.
Like, look at how quickly this disrupted. Watch, they're good. They're totally fine. You don't love the matchups, but everyone's matched up. Hold it. Tyler's on Jokic. Hey, Haywood's right there. Everyone has a person. We're good until this pass goes. Tyler's like, nope, absolutely not. Nope. I'm not doing that. Max, you deal with that. I can't. Oh no. So you remember when I said, hey, you can be there on the catch, but what's not going to be there? The ball? Look, watch. Max Strus is reading the hell out of this. Look at him. He's like, oh, okay. Tyler, you want to do that? Cool. Pause. Dog, before Max could get there, the ball was gone. Look. Look. It's gone. Bye.
Boom. It's so tough. Harry's supposed to lay. Hey, let's that is a time I've ever seen it. Eric Spoelstra is walking on the court. He's on the court already. Eric's all right. Timeout. That's enough.
Wait. Did the shot go through, or did Spo step on the court? I kind of want to watch Spo on this clip now, honestly. Can we just watch Spo?
Yeah, let's go ahead and
get to the
so
bottom.
Spo's like, hey, what y'all doing?
Oh, hey.
You got the foot in the air right now as the ball's entering the cylinder.
That man, his foot is on the court.
It's all right. Hey. Come on. Max Strus upset too? What is this? That wasn't my responsibility. Hey, Tyler!
Max said, what y'all want me to do? I tried to do everything I could. What y'all want me to do? Yo, if I'm not going to take the Kaiser's bit, but if you were a basketball player and you are on defense and your hands are like that, a lot of things have gone wrong.
Come on, man.
Yo, what else do you want me to do? I was there on the catch, bro, and I closed back out. But whose fault is the breakdown? It's not Hero's fault. It's just Jokic exists. Yeah. Like, you would have liked Hero to be a little more like, hey, let's see what happens here. But Jokic was like, Hero's like, nah, I'm not guarding Nikola Jokic. This is my responsibility. Quick decision. It's Strus had to get to Jokic and get back to the closeout. That's impossible.
It's just kind of tough. I don't know what you do with that.
It's impossible.
Oh man! All right, we have reached the final 6 clips of the night. We were talking about Kyle Lowry. We were talking about Gabe Vincent. I should have had this written in the other order because it's going to be the Gabe pick and rolls first.
You good, brother?
But It's going to be Gabe and Lowry pick and rolls against drop. They combined saw 21 reps against Denver's drop in the regular season series. Only 0.58 points per possession. Not great at all. But I will say, going through the film, the looks were pretty solid. And it's going to be obviously important for them to punish those looks in this final series. So, early pick and roll rep. Bruce Brown trying to get this to the sideline. I think this is Jimmy Butler one pass away, which is why KCP is already down here. So that allows him to account for the roll as Gabe Vincent drives. Jimmy's cutting. Because he cuts, that removes KCP. Bam has a pocket. You have to make that shot. But it's yet another example of Miami cutting behind that early help that Denver wants to show. So you can see here, as KCP tries to get back out, tries to locate Jimmy, that's what opens up this pass for Bam. And again, Bam just has to knock that down.
Bring it back to the screen and let it kind of roll, that whatever that half speed is. So, hey, Gabe takes it. Jokic, you're going to have to guard. Look at, again, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon. They are all in early. That's fantastic. Hey, Bam, that short roll, that pocket's not going to be there. Hey, that drive, that's not going to be there. And again, Gabe Vincent, a little different now. It's not an automatic turn the corner drive. It's pull it. But because you're sending that much attention, you see what opens up, as Nekias stated. And that's where I'm intrigued with, hey, can Miami hit those buttons? If Jokic's going to be a drop and y'all going to show early help, can we manipulate it, attack, penetrate, open things up that way? Like, I'm interested by that part.
And so now we get to the next one. Stru's going to cut through. Pitch to Gabe Vincent. Pick and roll. Once again, we get a re-screen here because MPJ is peeled in early still.
Now go back. Go back.
Right.
Sorry, Nekias. Didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to point out one thing with the re-screen. Watch the, I believe, switch and pause it a couple seconds. Under. The best thing, like I know Nekias has his thing, the best way to beat a switch is a slip. The best thing you can do with an under is re-screen. If you look at it, when you go under, you are literally setting yourself up to be right in position to get hit again. And Miami goes with the re-screen to get the flip. Keep going.
Get the flip behind the back pocket pass because MPJ stepped back. Once again, Bam has to knock down these shots. But the important thing for Miami, from a process perspective, these shots are going to be there. This doesn't feel like the back end of the Boston series where it's like, okay, how can we get Bam looks? How do we get creative about this? There are going to be some automatics that Miami can play with here. And again, it's going to be up to Bam to knock these down. Very much in his wheelhouse.
If the question is, can Miami make shots, then they're okay. If the questions are, can Miami generate shots and can Miami make shots, they're in deep trouble.
Yep. So there's the under. And we know Gabe is, especially this version of Gabe, very, very willing to pull against unders as well. But that is a really good rescreen. He engages Jokic. You see Jimmy Butler once again. He's starting here. He's now going to this side. And so now KCP kind of stepping up. MPJ still technically matched up with Caleb Martin. You got Jimmy underneath. Again, Bam has to knock that down. But Miami has ways to generate some openings against this Denver defense. They're just going to have to capitalize on them when they get them. I think we got this is going to be the last one for Gabe Vincent. Early pick and roll rep here. This left side is going to be empty. Bruce Brown gambles. Nope. KCP is peeled in. This Jimmy Butler's late getting in. But once again, watch the cut behind it. KCP tries to get out of there. That's an advantage created. Caleb Martin switching sides. That's not going to matter because that is a wide open shot for Gabe Vincent. Doesn't get it to go down. But again, this is Miami finding openings. You got drop. KCP's peeled in. You get the cut behind it.
Again, the cutting against Denver's help, that's something you want to watch, folks. Denver is very good if Nikola Jokic is going to drop of pause it. Everyone is here to support him, especially that nail help. And that by nail, I mean the middle of the floor. So Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, his help means that Nikola Jokic gets to stay back there. But if he's there, his man is open. If his man dips, y'all two,
So if we can briefly do the bit here, is this Naruto? We got KCP with the. That's not how that's supposed to look. If you try to get back into the, that is less than ideal stance for a basketball player trying to recover out to his matchup, especially if that matchup is Jimmy Butler. That is not what you want. And so Bruce Brown sinks, and yeah, you want to give 2023 postseason version of Gabe Vincent this shot? No, you do not. That is not the shot you want to give him. Doesn't get to go here. But again, those pockets are going to be open. Or in theory, they should be open. And so now we can move to the Kyle Lowry portion of this. High pick and roll. We'll note the spacing. One, this pick's going to be set very high. Max Strus deep in the corner. That's Tyler Hero super deep in the corner. Jimmy Butler in the short corner. Very flat. And what that does, opens up room here for Kyle Lowry to drive, depending on where the screen's going to be set. But ultimately opens up a lot of room for Bam to play with as he sets the screen and rolls to his left theoretically.
Hold it. I want to enhance your point. It was a great point. This is where Denver – sorry, hold on. Let me make sure. Yeah, see, this thing is wrong. This is where Denver is going to have to make the adjustment because they are a team that wants to load up their help early. They want someone to be there to help Jokic. In this scenario, who's there to help Jokic because the wing is empty? No one.
Mm-hmm.
So because you have that, to keep it going, look at what Kyle Lowry sees. Now, I'm not sure exactly what he's going to do next, but you can see what could develop. You got a shooter in the corner. You have an empty wing. I don't know if they're going to go dunker spot spacing in the finals. But at the same time, hey, Jokic isn't coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You have Bam. You got a pocket. So you got a whole lot of stuff. Keep going.
Yep. So in theory, it's dribble too much now at this point, but there's a pull-up three opening here. Bam's rolling in this with no wing help, as Steve pointed to. Jimmy Butler started again, short corner, deep with Tyler Hero. He's doing the relocation thing once again. Aaron Gordon and KCP are communicating with each other. Like, hey, man. And so that's a feed to Jimmy. He pumps. There's some help. Max Strus is moving. And so if you're Denver, you breathe a little easier. Like, okay, we got out of the initial issue, but this goes into Miami's flow, their connectivity. On drive, Bam's in the dunker spot. He's now doing the relocation thing once again. That's a nice finish for Max Strus, but you saw a lot of openings for Miami to attack early. Denver got themselves out of it. And then as Miami got into the flow portion of the possession, they were still able to generate some good stuff.
Yeah, they can't generate things on two sides, if that makes sense, folks. It can't be, hey, Bam has this that you have to worry about, and now maybe you recovered, but here's this other thing you have to worry about. And that's where I want to see, does Denver have automatics? They feel comfortable? Like, Kyle made a good decision, but Bam had a look.
Yep.
Denver recovers. So as you said, we're good. Woo!
Yep.
Wait. Hold on.
If you're like, wait, that little shuffle step right there, that's an opening. That's it.
And now Aaron Gordon's like, hey, the ball's here. I don't want to switch, but I know I need to help. So to keep it going, I can't let you just turn the corner. And I think Miami's space is going to be a lot better.
Yep.
But, hey, you have Jimmy, who could be open. You got Bam lurking. That's something to deal with.
Yep, that's big fella having to navigate both of those as you pause it here. Because again, that's where the relocation from Bam, he was starting to come here. It's like, wait, you can go this way. So you still have Jimmy here, Bam popping up here. And you also, it doesn't matter on this possession because, again, Max Strus gets the layup. Tyler Hero starting to sink right back into that corner. Baseline drift. So Miami, knowing how to move off the ball, again, initial openings, Denver breathes a little bit. They create another one. They move behind that too. We have another. Empty side. Jamal Murray tries to keep it on the sideline. Does not. That's a lot of space. Tyler Hero on one pass away, so that nail help is not there. I think that's Haywood Highsmith. He starts short corner / dunker spot. He is relocating once again.
Now bring it back real quick.
Okay.
I know you're gonna cook real quick, but I want to make this point. Jokic is in a drop. Look how far back he is, and I remind y'all of the Milwaukee Bucks series where Brook Lopez in a drop. Miami guard said, "Cool, pull up." Boston series, Al Horford, Robert Williams in a drop. Miami said, "Cool, pull up." This right here is the shot that these Miami guards, whether it's Kyle Lowry, Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, Caleb Martin, they're going to have to take.
Mm-hmm.
And the more they take this shot, what does Denver do? Because if Miami takes and makes this shot, it doesn't matter what y'all are doing. We scored.
Yep. Does
Denver feel comfortable with that? That to me feels like, hey,
yep.
This is where the reps may pay off. Mitchell Robinson. Also, you gonna stay back there? Pull up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want to see. Do Miami's guards, do Miami's others, does Miami's #undrafteds have the mindset to take this shot? Because Jokic in the drop is great. Early help is great. But y'all going to have these pockets. Y'all going to have these areas.
In my notes, I have Kyle can't pass up these shots. That was going to be big for his possession because that's it. No help, no help. They try to ice it and Bam screens Jamal Murray out of it. That's you. Or at least with Haywood Highsmith starting to clear here, you can really, really engage Jokic on this. He goes early pass though. And so Miami's able to play out of that a little bit. Get the slip. There's a kick. Jimmy gets to his pull-up. Couldn't get it to go. And Bam eventually draws a foul. So it doesn't end up being an awful outcome for Miami. But Kyle had the pocket early. Empty side, and they also try to ice it. Because I think in theory, you want that help to come from here. Or at the very least, you want it to come from here if you're trying to ice it. And you can have someone meet Bam on the roll. That's too easy. And if you get that opportunity, that has to be a shot. That has to be a shot, or that has to be engaging Jokic and making sure Bam gets a shot against Jamal Murray on the switch. It can't be that. You can't pass up. You can't pass up those opportunities. Jimmy missed. Offensive board for Bam. There's a foul. He's going to get some free throws. Last clip we have. It's going to end in a Bam miss, but another Kyle Bam pick and roll. That's a good screen. That's space. You note the spacing here. Bam can roll into a whole bunch of stuff. There's the pocket. Bam gets into it. Doesn't get it to go. Defensive board for Jokic just late in the game. Where, funny enough, Denver just killed Miami with Jamal Murray, Jokic pick and rolls at the end of this game. But this is kind of what you want to see if you're Miami. This is a very successful pick and roll pairing since they've been teammates. You note the spacing. Tyler Hero super deep in the corner. Duncan here. I think it's Max Strus. He started deeper in the corner. He's starting to lift up now, but that's a whole lot of space to the left. There you go. That's a comfortable shot for Bam. Has to be able to knock him down. If Miami's able to get Denver out of drop, it becomes a different series. But they have to punish the drop openings that they have. And I think conceptually they showed in the regular season series that we know how to get two looks against their drop, especially if they're preloading help as well. It's going to be up to them to continue to hit those notes, and ultimately they have to hit those shots. Any adjustments to y'all predictions? I'm cool with Denver in 7 still. Nuggets in 5. All right. It sounds cop-out-ish, but I don't think I'd be surprised by any outcome. I'll take that back. Outside of sweeps, I wouldn't be surprised by any outcome in this series. I just do not see this as a 4-game series unless like someone gets hurt, and that obviously changes the math.
I think the 4-game series, I only see that for Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Denver just presents like Jokic is incredible, Murray's incredible, and Miami doesn't have it going, I can see that happening. I picked Heat in 6.
Mm-hmm.
I could, and I say that totally seeing Miami losing by 25 points like I totally see offense not working. We're not sure what we want to attack. Denver attacks in transition. Miami turns the ball over. Miami can make shots. Denver wins by 30. Like I could see that. My thing is just all Miami has to do in theory is win one road game.
Mm-hmm.
And based off what I saw in the Denver Lakers series, there's a formula to beat Denver. I don't know if Miami can hit it, but if there's one team that can bring you to the mud, it's the Miami Heat to me.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw what Denver looked like when they got into the mud a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you can, and again, there's not a lot of margin for error for Miami. Like I said Heat in 6, but if certain things don't happen, they can't win.
Yep.
Like all this analysis, all this X's and O's, all this nuance, if Miami turns the ball over, it's over. Denver wins the championship.
Mm-hmm.
If Miami goes from, hey, can they make shots, to, hey, can they generate shots, it's over. Miami loses the series. If Jimmy Butler doesn't want to shoot or Bam doesn't want to shoot, it's over. But I do think that Miami has a unique blend as far as Jimmy cycling through matchups, Bam's opportunities to pick and roll, their ability to guard Jamal Murray. I think they have a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And if they get one in Denver, very hard to do. They get one in Denver,
it gets
the
tough.
match changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, I'm excited about this, man. Right, I've said it like 48 times at this point between the pod and just the timeline and stuff, but I think this is going to be a really fun series. This is going to be a really fun chess match between these two teams, rather. Both teams love to load up help. You got really smart basketball players on both sides that can kind of maneuver the chessboard however they want to, reads the floor well. We're going to see an element of matchup hunting from both sides. Like it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Both sides have the how many schemes can we toggle through question. I'm ready. This is a basketball series. I can't wait to see how it unfolds in game 1 tomorrow. I just hope we get a good game in game 1. I don't want the Miami blowout win and surprises Denver. I don't want the Denver blowout win and nonsense, Like give me, 112, 108, whoever wins game 1. I want some stuff to talk about, And I think we'll get it. Any closing thoughts, Steve? Or any more closing thoughts, rather?
Nah.
All right. Steve is good. Who are the predictions for Finals MVP? Denver in 7. That feels Jokic to me. I wouldn't be surprised if Jamal Murray gets it, but that feels Jokic to me.
Jamal Murray would have to have a hell of a series for Jokic to not get it.
Mm-hmm.
For Miami, I think it's Jimmy all the way. Who was the secondary person you think would get it? Bam? Is that it?
Bam for me. Yeah.
But to check Steve on the low post. Who's Steve?
That is the Steve Jones Jr., aka Steve Jones 20 on Twitter, who was on the latest episode of the Low Post. If you have not listened to it yet, please do so. It's fire. I have exactly 12 minutes and 30 seconds left in the episode. I thought I was going to be able to finish before 7:30. I did not. But Steve is spitting that fire as he always does. Very proud, very hyped for him. So check that out if you haven't already. And then, after that, if you haven't listened to and or watched the latest episode of the Duncan Spot, please do that.
Thank y'all for the support. I was only supposed to do like 15 minutes with Low.
15.
Then we just kept going.
Uh-huh. Come on.
What? Dog, that was my first time. You've been there like 8 times already.
Well, 1, not true. But 2, you knew good and well, but 15 minutes would have been 2 topics with Low. You knew good and well. We don't even do 15.
Yeah, you're right.
Come on now.
All right. Well, Thanks. I hope I did y'all dunkers proud on the low post.
Come on. Yeah, you look modest with us.
I was trying to hold it down.
Trying to hold it down. Come on.